Chalk Talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Hi, this is Dean Chenoweth, head coach of Cleveland's Lake Erie Monsters, and you're listening to the Sports Fix.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix Live, reverse Black Friday edition of the Sports Fix recap. Some of you joining us live here late in the show. We've been giving away stuff all show long. And of course, for those of you that don't know, with our delayed audience, it's much more fair to carry this over the weekend, which is why I planned it for Friday and Black Friday and all of that. It works out. It's well thought out ahead of time. But anyways, we've never been accused of being quick. Well, we have been accused of being quick to act sometimes, but this one's well thought out. So all weekend long, all you have to do, if you're listening right now, all you have to do, well, if it's 3 months from now, it's not going to help you much, but if you're listening right now during this holiday weekend, email thesportsfix@aol.com and say, I'm listening to your Black Friday show. I want to win me some swag. And I'm just kidding. You can say it however you want. Let me know you're listening. Let me know you want in. I'm dropping them all in the hopper. I've already gotten quite a few entries throughout the show. Keep it going throughout the weekend. Lukumi's Celebrity Holiday Cookbook. Recipes from over 50 different athletes and celebrities. It's a cool little cookbook. If you're into the holiday cooking thing, that is definitely a good little prize right there. Glory Days in Tribe Town, the newest book by Terry Pluto and Tom Hamilton. I've got a copy of that to come your way about the Indians and the birth of Jacobs Field, the glory days of the 90s. I've got a Vince McKee prize pack, Cleveland Cavaliers History of the Wine and Gold, a book written by Vince about the history of the Cavaliers franchise, as if the title didn't make that clear. As well, I'm going to pair that up with a copy of Cleveland's Finest, tales of some of Cleveland's greatest and lesser-known stories of some great moments in Cleveland sports history. So I've got a 2-pack by the author Vince McKee, Glory Days in Tribe Town by Terry Pluto and Tom Hamilton. And when I have Hammy on the show later on this month, I'll have another copy of this for one of you guys too. Lukumi's Celebrity Cookbook. I've got the Sports Fix social media prize pack this weekend. Tons of things going to be given out just because you guys hooked it up. We hooked it up. You hooked it in and listened to today's Friday, Black Friday, reverse Black Friday edition of the Sports Fix. Thank you guys for being with us. Thanks to our guests who all went way out of their way today to make this thing work. I mean, road trips and windows and everything were flying open. Jeff Gorman from Browns101.com, Jonathan Knight, sportswriter extraordinaire, Ryan Ruiz, all went out of their way today to be a part of this show. So I just want to thank them, as I did also thanking them for everything, for being a part of the show, because there's all of those guys. I mean, the list goes on and on, from John McMullen, Dan Wismar, Dr. Football, Jeff Gorman, Mike Brandenberry, Eddie Jansen, who just joined the team, Kendall Lewis, who's new to the team this year, going on and on behind the scenes, Dale Officer and Sam White, who help keep things rolling, do voiceovers and build the website, and, of course, each and every guest, BJ Riddell every week with Fantasy Football for Winners. I mean, I don't know if I'm leaving anybody off. I hope I'm not, because I'm doing this live, but I don't have a list. This isn't the Grammys. I didn't bring a list with me, but you guys know it, and you guys and everybody else who's a part of this one way or the other, making this thing happen. Thank you guys so much, and today especially, thanks to those guys for going out of their way to be a part of the show. Next week, well, we'll look at next week. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the holiday weekend, because there's a ton to do. Let's start right off the top. Cavaliers, talking some hoops for a second. Cavs and the Wizards, we didn't get a chance to talk since that game the other night. Of course, you guys in the chat room. I already said everybody. That fits everybody. I was giving individual shout-outs to the guests. I mean, Bruce and Charles and Larry and Vic. I can't do that, because I'm going to get 800 emails from people that say, oh, well, you mentioned these people and you didn't mention me. Everybody who listens to the show once, twice, or a millionth, once, twice, 3 times. Oh, never mind. Once, twice, or a million times. Thank you guys so much. I mean it all the time. You guys do realize, like, this isn't a catchphrase. If there's no you guys, right? I'm a guy talking to a microphone and the sound is bouncing back to myself. Other than that, that's it. That's all this is. With you guys, it becomes the Sports Fix. It becomes the Sports Fix universe. It becomes a big old thing. I don't know. I'm out of fancy words. It's the end of the day. Give me a break. Actually, my day has only just begun, you guys. While I'm going on and on, I've got to go off and do, as soon as I leave here, actually, I'm going to throw some clothes on. I'm going to jump, not that I'm not dressed now, but I'm going to throw my business clothes on. Let's end this week with a fun show. I'm going to get myself out to Solon because tonight I'm calling the state semifinal between Mayfield and Nordonia, which is going to be a good one. A rematch of the first game of the season between those teams. That was an overtime thriller. Neither team has lost since that game. Mayfield, Nordonia, state semifinal in Division II tonight. I'm going to be calling the action from Solon along with Matt Jaworski live on WINT 1330 AM and of course on the internet at wintradio.com and on TuneIn, which many of you listen to the show on our TuneIn channel. WINT has their own TuneIn channel as well. You can just look for 1330 or WINT. Stream us there. Stream us on wintradio.com or just click the old-fashioned radio dial onto 1330 AM tonight. Pre-game starts, let's see, it's a Friday night game. So pre-game is going to start at 6:46 tonight, and the game is going to kick off at 7. Well, technically 7. No, it's a Friday night game and there's TV. I apologize. It's going to be a pre-game at about 7. And the kickoff is going to be at 7:30 tonight because of TV and everything. So it's going to be a 7:30 kickoff tonight if you're heading out to the game. Should be a good one as these two good schools. And again, a rematch from earlier in the season. A fantastic 36-35 overtime classic. Can't wait. Mayfield, Nordonia calling it tonight on 1330. But getting back to where I was before I went off on thanking you guys and all of that stuff. The Cavs and the Wizards the other night. Did you guys get a chance to see it? I'm sure most of you did. Cavs really redeemed themselves a bit from just a few days earlier. The complete opposite. I mean, they laid an egg against the Wizards, and they came back and really put it to them. 113-87. And there's two things that I come away with most that I teased before we went to the break there, which is, number one, the defense of Kyrie Irving. I'm going to say it. This is a couple of performances now against quality point guards that he's gone out there defensively, he being Kyrie Irving, and played his game defensively. I said it last week when he played well against the Spurs. I said the gig's up. He'd have been better off pretending that he couldn't play defense because now you've proven to everybody you can, and when you don't, it's just a matter that you don't. But if he keeps doing that, and I mentioned it, was it Wednesday when we were talking about this? I mentioned that that's the one thing Kyrie Irving can control. I was telling some buddies about this. We were talking about the Cavs over the holiday, and I said, man, you can't control if you get along with LeBron James. You can't control if you've earned his respect. Like, that'll happen when it happens. You know what I mean? Like, you can't control any of that stuff, but you can control defensively. And to be honest with you, one of my buddies was like, Kyrie, if he's smart, politically, you come out smelling like a rose. And I'll tell you what, I believe that his agent and his dad, as we talked about last week, sat him down and said, son, listen, there's a lot of things going on. And this was during the week when LeBron, and I'm going to get to LeBron in a second with his improvement of what he did differently, which is all attitude, baby. But with that going on, I said, the best thing this kid can do is to rise above any diva-ness right now because it's already going on, and that'll hopefully work itself out. Play defense. Go out there and do the stuff that you can control that you've never done before. And that will at least stop people from piling on the LeBron good, Kyrie bad, because that was starting to happen when really It was the opposite. And I don't care about the Kyrie part. LeBron knows damn well that what he was doing last week wasn't the way to go, and he's corrected that. I'm getting there in a second, but let's not pretend that I'm being mean and that I'm not being honest. The only person not being honest is you if you don't say that garbage diva stuff that LeBron did last week was his mistake, and I think he's realized it when he went back to watch tape and saw that he wasn't running back on defense. The one play that everybody keeps showing on Twitter where he turns the ball over and just stands there and watches the guys go back down to the other end. I think he realized really quickly that, like I said, if you're going to be on a high horse, that's awesome, but your horse had better be mounted well, and you better not be walking around in no crap, because otherwise it comes back on you. LeBron figured that out. Look at the difference. Look at the difference of the way they played. I got it. Yeah, I know Vashon. I love some of these cats. Cavs are terrible. That is far from a word that I would use to describe the Cavs. But do what you got to do, because you know everything over there. And anyways, the Cavaliers, they do got a lot of work to do, brother. I'm not sitting here washed over and impressed and all highfalutin because the Cavaliers won a couple of games here. They're at 500. But what I'm impressed with is the little things that I'm watching. It's still a matter of all of them putting that stuff together. LeBron played last week like Magic Johnson, which is the way LeBron James should have been playing for 12 years now, or whatever, 11 years, however long. LeBron James is not Michael Jordan. People need to stop making him Michael Jordan. They need to stop making him think that he needs to be Michael Jordan. LeBron James needs to be Magic Johnson. He needs to be the ball distributing point forward who has the best court vision in the NBA. That's where I won't give you best player in the NBA. I won't give you that because I believe that there's a couple above LeBron James, but I will give you best court vision in the NBA. When he wants to look around and find people, he can find them better than anybody else can, and he can pass it better than anybody else can. When LeBron James is playing the Magic Johnson role in this offense and Kyrie Irving is defending, I'll tell you now, I think it was Terry Pluto that wrote up something about this morning, but dead on with what he said. Yeah, I do believe it was Terry Pluto. Dead on with what he said. When those two things happen, if this team figures out some bench scoring, they will easily be one of the best teams in the NBA. But it's that way. You've got to tweak the way you run the offense. LeBron has got to be, but you can't just set it in motion. It can't just be do as I say and not as I do. It's got to be do as I do and do as I say, because I'm doing as I say. Everybody knows that old expression that your dad used to give you is so hypocritical, or at least you thought it was when you were a kid. Do as I say, not as I do. No. Do as you say, and then I'll do as you do, you know? You know where I'm going with that. So, anyways, but I do like what I've seen there. And no, of course, because, you know, people that know it all don't like anything about any team because they know better than everybody who runs every team. I swear, Cleveland is full, and not just Cleveland, sports is full of the greatest unemployed general managers in the world, man. And like they say, if you listen to the fans too much, you end up like one when you're a general manager. But plain and simple, Cavaliers got a lot of work to do. They're only 500 right now. They've got a Pacers team this weekend as they continue that homestand. But the tweaks that I've seen there, I dig little by little where they're heading with things. Still a lot to do. I thought that Kevin Love was more effective, obviously, the other day shooting-wise, but they're still not pick and rolling. They're still not, with Kevin Love, I should say. More of what he does with Verjao, he being LeBron, the way they work together with that two-man game, that is when that's what I'd like to see them develop with Kevin Love here as well. I was noticing, looking back at the game the other day, I think he only had two pick and rolls during the entire. Maybe it was only one during the game the other day. Larry, I'm not piling. Listen, I'm just saying these are how you cohesively put these things together. I don't say that he's been one of the most consistent players on the team. He's been good more games than he hasn't, but finding the role for Kevin Love is going to be an issue. I liked what he did the other night. 7 of 10, had the 21 points in 28 minutes. And again, but I think his role will open up more when he figures out what it is that is going to work best, whether it's going down low. And again, that was something where LeBron wasn't wasn't leading by example. You know, you can't be out in the media sniping at guys. You can't, when Kevin Love says he's not getting in the ball where he wants it, you don't go in the media and say, well, then go ask for it. You go deal with it. You know what I mean. No reason to rehash that. Those were my problems last week with what the Cavs were doing. Meanwhile, they've got a test here coming up with the Pacers, but I do like that. And I like, again, the defense. I got to go back to that. As much as I like talking about LeBron leading the offense passing-wise, because I'm telling you, man, there's enough people to pass it to, and there's enough ball movement that he can make that ball move